Joseph's brothers have come down to Egypt a second time, this time bringing with them their youngest brother Benjamin. Joseph, of course, knows who they are, but they still do not know who he is. The brothers are invited to a festive banquet at Joseph's house. The seating arrangements are odd. The brothers are at one table, Joseph's staff and household at another, and Joseph eats by himself at a third table. The text tells us that Joseph's Hebrew brothers had to sit separately from everyone else because the Egyptians will not dine at the same table as Hebrews because, quote, it is an abomination to the Egyptians, end quote. But the text does not tell us why Joseph has to eat by himself. We know why, as the viceroy of Egypt, he can't eat with his brothers who are foreigners. But why can't he eat with the other Egyptians? Both our current Eitz Chaim commentary and the older Hertz Chumash say that it has to do with social status, that it would have been demeaning for Joseph to eat with his staff members. But I don't think this necessarily has to be the case. I think rather that Joseph has to eat by himself because he exemplifies the existential dilemma of the first diaspora Jew. Joseph was born in Padan Aram, but when he was around 6, his family returned to the land of Israel. He wound up living in Egypt where he attained fame, fortune, and power. And so he is different than his brothers, who are not immigrants but merely visitors. But he's also different from the other Egyptians because he's a Hebrew. Presumably, he keeps kosher and he needs different food, different utensils, and so on. Just as he is somewhat alienated from his fellow Hebrews because of his status as Egyptian nobility, he's somewhat alienated from other Egyptian nobles because of his Hebrew origins and especially his religious practices. We're nearing the end of the book of Genesis and will soon begin the book of Exodus. We will read of a new king of Egypt who knew not Joseph. There's a difference between the derivative power of Joseph and the sovereign power of Jews living in their own land. The stranger and sojourner always lives at the sufferance of others, and what is given can be taken away. Are we American Jews Joseph? I think not. But nevertheless, this is a cautionary tale of the difference between diaspora and sovereignty.